the Forged and Unbroken podcast. How are you?
Man, just hit the gym real hard quick so I can get in here and get with you.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me. This is awesome.
Man, I should be thanking you. So,
Nah.
I mean, it goes both ways for both of us, without a doubt.
Yeah, hell yeah. First and foremost, man, how did your area fare out with the hurricane?
So our area, no floods whatsoever. Had flooding, but nothing compared to the west part of the state where our task force was there. We've got 80% of our people back. So there's about 20% of the task force still there, and everything's in recovery mode now. So
yeah,
we set up. I called 2 weeks ago when the guys got dispatched and got in touch with our peer program people and said, "Hey, reach out for our people coming back to make sure they're good."
Good.
The things they've gotten to see and do was pretty intense. Listen to my battalion captain talk about it, so pretty intense.
Yeah, sure. We had some of our team go down as well, and we had everybody from part of the FEMA task force, and then also one of the guys for Heart for the helicopter teams were down there for I think it was almost 2 weeks. He just got back last week. I know the one guy on the helicopter Maryland team had like 83 pickoffs or something. Like it was just. I mean, I need to follow up with these guys. Like just an incredible amount of work that everybody was doing down there.
Yeah, so my division is part of the Heart team here in North Carolina.
Oh, nice. All right.
Unfortunately, he wasn't on the helicopter. He got put in logistics. So he was the Heart helicopter out. So one of the friends from a neighboring fire department, he was on the Heart team too, and they can pick up stuff. I haven't yet to talk to them again because they've been so busy.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Got back off. So.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, hey, let's. I want to be respectful of your time. We can get right into it. I was curious. So, when did you first get into the department? Because I know you got some time in.
Yeah, like in the fire service itself, or
yeah.
January 14th, 1980.
1980. I wasn't even born yet, JJ. That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
And where you're at in North Carolina, how much time you got on?
23 years on in North Carolina between two different departments. So about 23 years in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's amazing. And some of the demographics, because you work for a pretty, I'd say a larger department, right? Like what are some of the demographics and area response, staffing, like just the quick demographics of what you're dealing with and how you run business down there? Everything.
So we've got a couple of high rises that they're building. Two high rises now. They're going to be 40 stories. We've got 137. Wow. Our deck is very dense, very old school. My engine company, we go anywhere from low rent to new housing development, high rent. We were a 300 by 300 being built right across the front of the fire station now, a manufactured plant. We cover, there's 3 departments in the county, and we cover one of those departments in the county. We got half of it, which is all some commercial. Demographics, 19 stations. We have 3 quints, 1 aerial, 4 ladders, and all engine company, 3 squads and 1 big squads. We're talking utility trucks that we have to run on. We have a heavy rescue with another heavy rescue coming in next month. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have 10 brand new sucking engines. I got one new sucking engine that they got a year or so ago.
Okay, yes, you got a bunch of apparatus coming up on order. Things are, I mean, call volume wise, and for the station where you're at, your assignment specifically, like what are you dealing with?
So I'm on an engine company, and it's the only technical rescue engine company in the city because we do it all water rescue and trench, confined space, So we run with our rescue company, and we have engine ladder 2. They have the trench box trail, and then we have ladder 12 is our support unit for the south side of this city.
Okay.
So that's our technical rescue response.
Switching gears a little bit, when I see you at training days, right? You are somebody who is consistently like filling other people's cup, metaphorically speaking. Like you are somebody who the drive, the tenacity, the passion is always just ever present. And I don't think I've ever seen you upset. Not that I would in that environment, but it's very obvious that you just have this drive and passion that just lends itself to other people, like reaping some of that from you in such a positive way. You've been doing this since 1980, right? I feel like there's two types of roads that you go down typically. One of them is once you have as much time in the fire service as you do, some people start getting burnout. They start getting a little jaded. They leave the department or the profession. They hit retirement age and are like, you know what, I'm done with all this. Other people, they'll kind of go the other route, and I feel like that's where you're at. Not saying that you're at the end by any stretch, but like you've got a lot of time in. You could be burnout, but you're not. And I see you just firing on all cylinders. You obviously have a passion for service. And, man, you're just always smiling and jiving, man. Where does that come from for you? I think a lot of people need to reflect internally on that, and I would love to hear your perspective on that.
So, as I was talking to one of my friends in the gym today, I reflect on 33 years ago. My oldest daughter's 32, and I reflect on a coworker that said to me, God first, then yourself. Because if you don't put God first and then take care of yourself, then you're no good to anybody else. So that's the drive. They're honor and glory to God. I have a good support system, especially with the Durham Fire Department. One of the best departments I've worked for, I've been a part of. I work with some really great people. So I love going to work. So, and then I just wanted to be an instructor. I got told one day by a captain, retired captain now for one of the departments, told me that there's not a stupid question, just a stupid person that would ask it. And that drove me to want to change that way of thinking in the fire service. Because what that person was saying was like, Matilda, you're fat, I'm skinny, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb. I didn't like that. So that drove me to want to be better. It drove me to tell people, I'm teaching you, but I'm teaching myself as I'm teaching you. So I learn as you learn.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's such a easy flip of the script, but so many people get trapped up in it. Like you have the opportunity to teach and to grow and mentor and give back, and that is so much of service, right? And when you really lean into that, like your cup gets filled and you help other people, and it's easier to find gratitude, whereas other people find it as a way to breed more arrogance or demean other people. And it's such a nuanced switch, but it's such a massive switch in mindset. And you're taking that higher road for sure, and you see it, you know.
I surround, so Battalion Chief Richard Ray, he's going to be doing the Greensboro training days. He's the one that got me into going to Andy Fredericks because he had letters to Andy Fredericks about smoothbore nozzles before 9/11.
Yeah.
He had been in contact, had talked to him previously. So that is my big drive, honor and glory to God for him that we are doing this. And that's how I got involved with training days. Plus, got involved with Champo and Mike Dugan at Firehouse Expo teaching engine and truck company ops. I was blessed to do that for 4 or 5 years. So Ron Moore with education, blessed to do that. Now Ron Moore has given me all of the honor and glory to be teaching my alternative fuel vehicle classes, which deals with electric vehicles, hybrid electric vehicles, compressed natural gas, LPG. So I'm teaching tonight down in Wayne County Community College And then next week, I'm teaching in Greensboro for the area of Guilford Community College up there in Greensboro, North Carolina, for 2 days.
That's awesome. So even after, what are we talking, 40 years, over 40 years in the service, like you're still giving back, you're still hitting the ground running, firing on all cylinders, man. And you're doing this with some heavy hitters of the fire service. Yeah. Like we got to have dinner with Champo a couple weeks back at the Alexandria, and that was his first conference back, actually, now that we think about it, with his cancer treatment. So that was just an amazing opportunity. Super grateful to be able to listen in on him and then also break bread with him later that night. How cool is that? Yeah. Let's talk about that fully involved training. How did that happen? I want to hit the training and some of that alternative fuel stuff, and then we'll get into some Mayday stuff.
So that hit the ground. I was having issues with the department I was working for down here. I ran into a bunch of racial issues, and things ran a different route, and I ended up getting let go from the department. So fast forward, Ron Moore, we're at Firehouse Expo, we're talking. He says, hey, I got this company in Rhode Island that's looking to help me develop EV programs for the fire service because they were already here. The Honda Insight was already a hybrid electric vehicle. Ron felt like there was a conflict of interest with helping out these guys from Hybrid Hazards in Rhode Island and Firehouse Expo. So he called me and said, hey, I got an opportunity for you. You want to go for it? And I said, sure, why not? And so sent me to Rhode Island. I met with Mike Mosier and Patrick Banana and come back. And they said, here's a program. Here's what we're doing. Got trained in it. NFPA did a program back in 2011. The only book that NFPA's ever wrote was in 2013. These guys were part of helping NFPA and got my certification and came back to North Carolina. And believe it or not, I am the first African-American to have a fire training company in North Carolina. Started December 2011.
Oh, it's amazing. That's super cool.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, a quick rabbit hole, man, you kind of touched on something that is certainly, I wouldn't say that is always on my radar. So if you don't mind leaning into that for a second, you talk about racial issues in the department. It's very easy to say that we all wear the same color T-shirt and we're all there for the same mission, which I believe we can all get behind. I don't necessarily have the experience, though, that you might have. So what is it that somebody like me can be mindful of whether it's word choice, cultural things, like what were some of the things that you experienced and how can we best like truly break down BS and barriers and be as inclusive and respectful as possible? Because like I said, that's typically not on my radar unless somebody brings it to my attention.
So my mentor in the fire service is John Dean, Captain John Dean of the Phoenix Fire Department. John was, when I was in New York at 16 years old, took me under his wing. And to this day, John and I still talk. His wife and I grew up together. So John and I had this conversation when everything was happening. And then just recently, John said to me, I don't see color. And that is deafening to me because we do see color. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell him, don't say you don't see color. See the color and don't see the color of the person, but see what the person inside of that color has to give to the fire service, whether it's, African-American, Caucasian, Latino, Chinese, Japanese. See what that person has to give to the fire service. And when you say I don't see color, then you're telling me you're racist. And he's like, wow, I didn't look at it that way. Mm-hmm. So see color, but also see the person and see what the person is going to give back to the fire service or give to you that would help you be better in the fire service.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that, man. I just recently talked to one of my friends, Barry Floyd, who grew up in Baltimore City and talked about some of his experiences there as an African-American coming up through, he was shot at 18. That's what helped him get into the fire service. He's an amazing mentor now. and it's so easy to find the differences, but when we actually sit there, acknowledge each other's backgrounds and cultures and where we've come from, but then also lean in to better understand each other, we have so much more in common where we can break down all this BS that we use to split us apart. It's it's pretty amazing.
You ever met Ariel Jackson from Anne Arundel County?
I know the name. I'm not sure if I've actually met.
That was another one that helped me get through some of the social and racial bias. He's a really, really good dude.
Yeah.
We talk at least once or twice a month ourselves, but we never cover the race. We did in the beginning. Some of the things that I got told when I first moved down here was, you're big, you're black, you're intelligent, you're from up north, and you're in a biracial marriage. You got 5 things against you already.
Wow. I appreciate that honesty.
I mean, I just looked at it and said, let's make a deal.
Yeah. Well, hey, you've got a hell of an attitude in the shoulders to carry any hardship, man.
And it's God, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything different. And it's meeting people like you and Ariel and John Dean and Wells. Well, then, like, Wells came to me and took that chance and said, I want you to be a blue shirt. And that was so much of an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really, he's just like, same thing you're saying. You're upbeat, you're always this, you're always that. So now I get to share that with other people and help serve for the training days. And it's great to support you and all the other instructors that come through there, because we always pick up something very important. I loved what you guys did this past September. That tag team on mental health was amazing.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing going on now with the floods in North Carolina and Florida and South Carolina, is touching our first responders on mental health and what they're seeing, the destruction of somebody else's county, land, whatever, and coming back. And my captain and battalion chief said they'll go back up and help out because they could care less and they get paid.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful, and to be included on that group is such a massive honor to, like, with Wells and Mac and doing that presentation with Suzanne. Just incredible people, incredible mission, and the fact that we all get to rub elbows together for those few days is just man. It's like I joke, it's like our Super Bowl, Like there's no better event with no better people, man.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Now, 2 things, since we kind of hit on fully involved training and you talk about the hybrid electric vehicle stuff, we'll switch to Mayday here in a second, but this is such a consuming thing that we're dealing with now in the fire service. And just, there's alternative fuels, there's lithium ion batteries in and of themselves, and now we're putting them into vehicles. We just had some pretty crazy calls with some compressed natural gas out on 95 for us in our department. And how we deal with those is typically different than how we normally deal with storage tanks. That was a good learning process for me. If you could give me like the top 3 things that you wish people had a deeper understanding of when it comes to these alternative fuels, what would you say those top 3 are, and could you explain them to us?
1, fire conditions. So fire conditions are different. When you're dealing with compressed natural gas, it's lighter than air compared to LPG, which is heavier than air. LPG, we want to cool the tanks when the relief valves go off, so we want to slow the process. On CNG, when the relief valves go off, they do, just like any other relief valve, it opens and closes, and then it blows completely out. When CNG blows completely open, do not put water on it.
Yeah.
Don't put water on the CNG, let it go. But keep in mind that there is still about 100 PSI of gas still in those tanks that can still blow. A tank can still blow. EV batteries, lithium ion batteries, like there's so many things that go on with lithium. So they make up 3 components: lithium, magnesium, and cobalt. Cobalt's the unstable. Once that gets going, it makes the other three, or magnesium, having its own oxygen. So trying to cool it all down and get to it is difficult. And then the most important one is thermal imaging cameras. Andy Stearns, trying to get up with him and work with him. I did FDIC with him. And thermal imaging cameras are not being used properly for firefighting tactics, as well as compressed natural gas, hazmat, and all those other components, which those are the three things I think if the fire service get really good and pay attention to, we can slow down the catastrophic failures and stop getting first responders hurt.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. We just had an experience with the compressed natural gas, and that was one of the major takeaways is what you just said about how you don't want to cool these things down. You want that relief valve to do exactly what it's designed to do. We had a good after action on that. Actually, I'll probably send it to you just to get your thoughts on it too, because you've been in this game for a minute now. I would love to get your expertise on that. And bringing it full circle, for training days, we had Mickey Farrell of Top Floor Tactics talk about, I guess it was last March in Greensboro with his experiences with the lithium-ion batteries, and then Sam Hiddle out of Wichita, Kansas, talking about thermal imaging cameras. So the knowledge is there between the three of you preaching amazing information. We just have to make sure we apply it correctly, right, and get this knowledge out there. So the resources are there. We just have to be able to can it and use it appropriately.
I was pretty honored with Mickey Farrell at Greensboro because him and I have been talking for like a day about his topic when he was going to talk. And he went in there and gave me accolades for my company. And I am now teaching at Greensboro, starting next week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sam Piddle he said the same thing you say every day. I don't care where he sees me at FDIC, Firehouse Expo, training days, you never stop smiling because you make me want to keep doing what I'm doing. And he continuously shares his stuff with me. And then, so I just about to send him Andy Stearns stuff on thermal imaging because Andy Stearns is insight on thermal imaging, and he teaches at FDIC and he teaches around the world. And it was amazing to see what Sam Hiddle was doing on training days, and Andy Stearns is trying to get out there too. So I think the two of them for the thermal imaging part of it, and Sam Hiddle for everything.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah, wizard.
Yeah,
I call him the wizard.
That's a better word for it.
He's a wizard. And just, I think those two and all that you were doing is making a huge impact on the fire service.
No, thank you. I mean, we're all in this together. We're trying to advance it a little bit and make it a little bit better than we found it with our experiences and shared struggle, man. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
When we were talking back in Alexandria a few weeks back, you were mentioning, I really do deep dives and have a keen interest in Mayday and survival and the psychology and the fitness surrounding these incidents. And you mentioned how you had was it called a close call? I don't know. Would you think that's an appropriate word for it?
Close call from one of our drivers. Like we run for our ladder company. That's a technical rescue ladder. We run 2 drivers. I was the driver that day. The other driver and the captain were the ventilation group. So my job that day is to soften the building. Then strip the truck, throw ladders, press out, get up there with them. In the process of doing all that, the other driver told me they were sounding the roof, and captain went up ahead of him. And when he stepped to go around, he felt himself go in. And by that time, I was coming up the ladder, and he was pulling himself pretty much out. And I just threw my hook over to him, and the captain turned back around. And, we got him. He went through. He said up to his waist. And it was one of those looks on your face when you is he gonna go all the way through? And it was it's a fatality fire, so it kind of we didn't want to get ourselves jammed up, and very close call for that one.
Yeah, you said there was a civilian fatality as well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I remember you threw, I think, just from my little bit of research on the topic, I'd say it's almost like a quarter to a third of roof falls, like through the roof, end up at the roof line and stuck, usually by their hips, which is the widest part, or chest. And you're throwing the hook there. That is a very common tactic, like hook, hand tools, ladders, to help displace weight, across multiple rafters. And then whether it's a ladder or a hook or some other tool, using that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was that part of like a little bit of like a fulcrum or a cantilever to help assist him out as well? Or was he able to get out?
That's all it was. Is like, he had his tools, but once you fall through, you kind of, as you're falling into something, sometimes you tend to let go of something else and want to grab something.
Sure.
Apparently, like I said, he had his Halligan bar, which he was able to put down on the ground, and just by sliding the hook over to him, he used a little fulcrum and he pulled himself out a little bit. I mean, it was one of those looks on your face when he was like, he nicknamed me Juicy J, and he's like, thanks, Juicy J. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, he's got a wife and a new kid at that time. You want to see your brothers and sisters fall. Incident's going to happen in a split second. And that's one of those where I give honor to God that we were able to be in the right spot at the right time. So,
yeah, I mean, so much of that is where just timing and opportunity just meet up by chance, right? Your training, your intellect and expertise, your physical fitness is all kind of hitting at the same time, right? And it's in this moment's notice when all these things have to culminate and present themselves at once to get, your fallen brother, a near miss, a mayday, a civilian rescue out of a really bad situation, and everything culminated in the right way with the right people, right? What were some, were there any other takeaways from that incident?
We just, for me, I'm always about, the captain is still the captain on a ladder truck now. He's big about sound on the roof. He takes that roof hook up there. He's really aggressive, quick about sound on the roof. It was just one of those areas where I guess the roof just was spongy at that time when Paul was moving. Like I said, I got lucky being able to get up the ladder at the time and go up to help him after throwing about 3 or 4 ladders myself. And it was just one of those things where it could have been ugly, but he balanced and persevered. It wasn't, nobody else seen it. We're the only ones assigned to the roof.
Yeah, you're just making it happen.
Nobody knew it, and he said to me when we got done, he said, caps down the roof, and we were moving up to make the hole. I mean, they got a cut,
mm-hmm.
but it was just that point that and that roof could have been, given away from weather, not so much the fire. I mean, it was a pretty good fire, but it could have been saggy just from the weather itself. It's an old building.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Any other maydays or near misses that you've experienced that you want to harp on before I switch gears?
I haven't. That was about the only thing I've ever been involved in.
Yeah, no, that's it's still amazing experience. I mean, I think roof falls is like the third most common cause of mayday. A lot of people don't get to experience it, especially at the roof line. So I appreciate that insight. You've mentioned a little bit, like you just got your workout in. This is part of your regimen. Common trends I'm seeing here is 1, glory to God, 2, service mission mindset. And there's another part where you are absolutely keeping up with your physical fitness after 40 years in this calling of ours. What are these daily anchors? I call them anchors, the daily discipline. What are these for you? How are you nurturing them? How is it that this stage in the game, you're still keeping up with them?
So we'll go back to the captain on the ladder truck. One of the things that we would do, and I felt like he was trying to break me down because I was the old guy in the truck. I'm the 5th oldest person in my department.
5th oldest, wow.
Still, yeah, out of 400 people in the department, I'm the 5th oldest still.
That's amazing.
In and off the truck. Right?
Yeah.
So at one point, I felt like, this is pretty cool. We're doing. So we're climbing those 37 floors, and I'm like, what is this guy? This is killer, man. Like, I'm not in shape for this. And as we progressed and kept doing it almost every day that we could, we would start out with just our regular PT uniform on. Go up, come down. Sometimes we go up and come down twice if we're just having PT gear on. Then it progressed to bunker pants. Then it progressed to your jacket. So we work a 5-6 schedule. So 5 days on, every other day, and then 6 days off straight.
Okay.
By the 5th day into like that second or third month, we were going up, breathing air. They would go up, breathing air, and come down almost twice.
Wow.
And I was like, I'd make it to the 10th floor, and I had to come off air and go all the way up to the 37th, and then I get on air and come back down. And then I would breathe. We got to the point where going up and down those stairs and watching what I was eating, like, it really challenged me. And my biggest problem was I know I'm the old guy in the truck. And I'm like, I kept telling those guys, hey, you going up there, you get there, if you get in trouble, don't think that my nickname is Juice.
Yeah.
Juice is coming to get you. Don't worry about that. And so that incident with Paul, me being up on the thing, on the ladder, just in time to slide the hook over, get his fulcrum, get him up. We kept moving. I give that to the captain on that ladder company to get me to build my stamina up, to make me believe in myself. I would go on vacations. We get 21-day breaks. I'm out visiting my daughter in Georgia, and I'm on the Stairmaster, and I'm climbing those 37 floors and doing everything in 5. I've got my time down to being 5 minutes, 6 minutes climbing 37 floors.
Wow.
And I just wanted to be in that realm where I can protect our guys and let the guys know we got their back. One of the most intense programs I've ever taken is called, Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. It's here in North Carolina, breathing school, called breathing school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And yeah, the North Carolina breathing school is one of the most intense classes I've taken. 2011, I was 48 when I took that class, and it opened my eyes to Mayday. It opened my eyes to things that I really wanted to be proficient at, and I wanted to make sure I never let my brothers and sisters down. So working out every day, trying to work out every day, trying to get my cardio up, trying to lift. That's been my goal. And then to have you come in last year and do training days and talk about your situation and how fit you guys are. And that was another big drive. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to get back into fighting weight. At 60 years old, I don't want these guys to ever have to wait on me.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. The 5th oldest gentleman in your department, you said you're nearing 60 now?
I'm 60 now.
60 now, okay. And there's that saying, look to the old guy in a young man's game or whatever. Like you've been doing this, you're worth your weight in salt, and you're making it happen. And it's through that daily discipline of realizing the pressures and demands of us in our profession, and then putting in the work necessary to accomplish these tasks. And it's not like an overnight change, right? But you're putting in the work. You have amazing mentors. You're surrounded by good people. And here you are affecting change on the calls, affecting change on near-miss incidents. And that's directly a result of the hard work that you're putting in every day. At 60 years old, still living the mission, man. I love that. I got 20-year-olds that I have to struggle sometimes to get on board.
I've got a 20-year-old too. And, watching. So I assist with teaching our fire academies. I've been doing that. I've been an fire instructor for 17 years in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And so I've been teaching for the Durham Fire Department between technical rescue and firefighting pretty much all 17 years.
Yeah.
And I've got some great mentors in there, and I've watched these young guys come up. And the thing I hear everybody say to me pretty much every day, man, when I get your age, I hope I have your energy. My response to them, don't wait to get to my age, get it now.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I run circles around some people. We do we do a biddle test. You have to be done in 15 minutes. And I think my worst score so far is 6 minutes and 27 seconds. That's been my worst. My best has been 5 minutes and 3 seconds.
And what is this test?
It's our biddle test. It's a agility test you have to do. So you put full gear on with an air pack. You have to pull a 150-foot dry line. You have to pull a 100-foot of charge line. You have to take a 24-foot ladder off, walk it around 70 feet, put it back on the rack, raise the 24-foot, drag a 175-pound mannequin 70 feet, climb up on the roof, drop the stall, come back down, hit the sled, do load, do attic crawl, and then you grab high-rise hose and you go to the fifth floor or tower. You do a search, you come back down, grab the high-rise hose, come back down, drop it, then you grab bottles and you take it to the fourth floor, and then you have to get to the fourth floor, you have to pull a 2.5-inch hose about 60 feet up, drop it, grab the bottles, come back down.
That's awesome. And I love time standards. So you have double digits worth of minutes to accomplish it, and you're doing it well in the single digits worth time frame.
Yeah, like I said, my worst time was 6:27, and that's because they, it wasn't my time. I know I did better time, but they were edging me along. But I'm a 5-minute guy because the last time I did the biddle test, I did it in 5:25.
Yeah, it's awesome. You have 14 minutes to accomplish it. That's the time cap, and you're knocking it out in the fives. That's awesome. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned your kids. I've got two young girls, 11 and 8, and I know that mindset shift that has occurred being a father with your kids later in the game at your age in this profession. How would you say fatherhood has changed your perspective? Not just with fatherhood in and of itself, but then also with our profession.
So my oldest daughter's 32, my middle daughter's 22, and my youngest daughter is going to be 20 in December. And I have an 8-year-old granddaughter. And so
Wow.
My oldest daughter told me about a year or two ago, like, hey, Dad, we love everything you do for the fire service. She's been around me since she's been born in the fire service all of that.
Yeah.
And she says, you give everything out there in the fire department. We felt like we got the crumbs of you. Like you were fire department, overtime, training, and then when my mom was alive, I did a lot of things with my siblings and helped my mom out. And then it was my kids. And that clicked.
Yeah.
It was time to turn that corner and focus back on my kids. And so now it's like, if my kids need something over at the fire department, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that time back in because I felt like the time was stolen from them. Because you're out there trying to do things and make a difference in somebody else's life. And you actually have to give your kids those same tools. And you have to be able to willing to put in that time with your kids. I did a little bit. They give me accolades for that, where I should have been doing more. So now I'm doing more, and they're like, wow, like, what a big change, Dad. Like, you're here, Dad. Like, you're doing this. And what about this? And you guys are important.
Man, that you got me on that one. That's some brutal honesty. That one, I appreciate the vulnerability, man, to have your kids say something like that to you, but then taking it earnestly and then making healthy change, like that's massive. It's so easy to make excuses or shirk responsibility, and especially in this game. I know I fell into it when I was younger, like saying yes to everything, every training opportunity, every assignment, every fringe project. I was the same way. And to sit there and you can change other people's world. You can also change the world at home just by being present, like truly being present.
Truly being present.
Yeah. Dude, I really appreciate that reflection. That's pretty massive.
Yep.
Yeah, man. What with all the things you do get into when family's not a priority, if people wanted to reach out to you through training, resources, is fully involved, like the best place to do that? What are some ways that people can, just get the goods from you?
So my wife is the graphic designer. We put together a website and everything, and then me not paying attention to the website, somebody else ended up taking over the logo that I had. So the best way to get in touch with me is through my email, which is jkj259fd@yahoo.com. I still do have a Facebook post with Only Bob Training LLC of Apex in North Carolina, and they can go on and see some of the things I post and the classes I've done. I've been very fortunate to be. We have a safer program down here in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And for the last 3 years, I have been teaching my alternative fuel vehicle class. And that's what's helped me to pick up a lot of work here in North Carolina now.
Awesome.
So networking with people and word of mouth, people who know who I am. And that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I appreciate that. I'll make sure to link out too whenever this gets out into the public to make sure that we get all those resources out there so it's easy to find. I'd love to have you back too, just to do a deeper dive on just the alternative fuel stuff. I know you got another podcast out there. I would love to do that as well with you at some point whenever you're free. That'd be great.
Yeah, look, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Keyword. And the only way we're going to get things out there and take care of our brothers and sisters is to do what we're doing right here.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Any last minute thoughts, words, mantras from the great JJ? You have so many good things to say. I know, like, we can vibe for a while, but I know you got stuff going on. So anything you want to close with, man?
Look, it's just it's an honor to be that you've seen this. You took the time to reach out. I love what I do. And I just love that the people that God has put me in a spot where I can reach out and be that strength when somebody's weak. And that's how I look in life.
Yeah. Man, that's super meaningful. And I consider myself so incredibly fortunate to be given the opportunities I have through training days and Mac and Wells and Joel to have met men like you that have just the service, the mission, the outlook in life to make everybody around them better, man. And I'm just really, really grateful. I am truly full of gratitude for not only this and having met you and seeing everything that you're doing, man. Like you said, we're better. Better together, better working together, and this is super meaningful. So thank you for doing this and doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, I really, like you said, Mac and Wells, like I said, Richard Ray, the battalion chief Richard Ray during fire department. I thank him for putting me into this program, and I tell you, I look forward every year to going to training days. And seeing that has been, like, I've met people from Michigan, Indianapolis, everywhere, just by coming to training days. It's amazing what training days really does. Mm-hmm. It's a reset. I don't think Wells and Mac knows how much of a reset the fire department is. Jesse Ronke, Jack Cleese, all those guys, man. Working with all the guys with the blue shirts, Sherrard, man, from Richmond, just working around all that energy and all that. These are the people, 350 line. These guys, Brad Clark, the year that Brad Clark died, he was doing his presentation for training days. Mm-hmm. And he was out in the hallway pacing. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? I said, you're the loudest guy in the bar. You're out here and you're about to freak out inside there. I said, take your ass up in there and go do what you do best. And I said, I'm going to be standing right there in the corner. And anytime you feel like you need to, you look over at me. And I'll be watching and give me a thumbs up. He got done with his presentation. He walked over and hugged me. I said, man, thanks. Yeah. And then we went to the bar at night. He was screaming, buying me drinks. And then a couple months later, he ended up dying in that freak accident on 295, and that hurt. That really hurt.
Yeah.
But the impact that he made will be felt throughout training days.
Yes.
And the same thing that's going on with you and Sammy Hiddle and Champo and Timmy Kill, all you guys. Everybody has done a great job in keeping Andy's dream alive, but also keeping Brad's dream alive. And I think that Wells and Mac needs that, know that program has touched a lot. And now the mental health part of what's coming into this program,
yeah.
Great job, guys. Great job.
Well, thank you. It's, I hope Mac and Wells and Joel realize how impactful it is to so many people. Like the inspiration, the motivation, the education that they're getting, and just like you said, the reset. It's such an amazing reset to realize how fortunate we are, and then we go back and the discipline skyrockets and just and then being able to connect with you, man. Like the fact that I can now shoot you a text and ask questions or just check in. Massive honor. So
Anytime you have any questions on any of the alternative fuel stuff, please reach out to me. Some of my stuff is proprietary when it comes to how I do things.
Sure.
But the main goal is to send our first responders home safely the next day. Mm-hmm. That is our main goal. So anything I can always help you want to bounce off me about CNG, LPG, the lithium-ion batteries. I work with a guy from UL here in Durham, North Carolina, who is on that board for the lithium-ion batteries for vehicle fires and stuff like that. So,
oh wow,
it's been an honor with him. He's helping me next week when we're going to try to burn a lithium-ion battery for my class.
Awesome.
Turtle Fire Systems. These guys are out of New Jersey. I'm demoing their new product. They sent me their Turtle Fire System to use. I'll shoot you my video of the one I did at the Safer Conference this year, just to show you how that.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, demoing that. So it's live fire blankets. They took a chance on me. They sent me a blanket for vehicle fires, for lithium-ion vehicle fires. Demoing that. It's just networking after networking.
Yeah.
And again, I just give God honor and glory for people believing in me.
Awesome. That's huge, man. You got a lot of great things to say. People should be paying attention. Well, I'll definitely have you back. We'll figure it out to do a deeper dive on all that, because I know I need the most up-to-date information, especially for the area that I work. Like it's just, and everywhere, as you and Mickey talk about, like it's everywhere. It's not just urban settings. So it's an issue we got to tackle head on. But dude,
I'm here.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I appreciate this. So much love and respect for you and your time. And
thank you. Love and respect.